Your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, explosive evidence has been heard on the first day of the appeal by convicted murderer Susan Neil Fraser. For more now, we're joined by reporter Sean Mckay. Good evening, Sean. Now, a big day of surprises in court.
Well, good evening, Kim. Indeed it was. Key witness Megan Vass told the court she was present on the boat the night Bob Chappell vanished. Now, this is something she had said on current affairs programs, but never in court. Today, she gave a detailed version about what she claims took place on the night of Australia Day 2009. But today's hearing quickly came to an abrupt end. They filed into court uncertain what to expect. But by the afternoon, Susan Neil Fraser's supporters were hopeful.
It's been a very emotional day, and obviously I think the bombshell bit of evidence is Megan Vass saying that she was on the yacht.
The Four Winds was the last place Bob Chappell was seen alive on Australia Day 2009. Today, Neil Fraser's lawyer Robert Richter put the question bluntly to key witness Megan Vass. On that night, were you present on the yacht? Yes, she replied. She went on to describe how she and 3 others boarded the boat with the intention of stealing from it. They expected it to be empty. It wasn't. She said Bob Chappell told the group to get off the boat. An argument followed. All I can remember is seeing a lot of blood, Miss Vass told the court. She described vomiting on the deck and couldn't remember leaving. At the time, Miss Vass was 15 and homeless. Her version of the night was heavily questioned by lawyer Daryl Coates. Isn't it a fact that until prior to talking to 60 Minutes in February 2019, you could never recall being on the boat on Australia Day? Is that the case, he asked. Yes, she replied. Neil Fraser's lawyers conceded Miss Vass had changed her story over the years, but argued the appeal was anchored in the discovery of her DNA on board the boat. Miss Vass grew increasingly distressed under cross-examination, with Justice Helen Wood abruptly adjourning the hearing. It's the second time Neil Fraser has appealed her 23-year jail term. Her daughter Sarah Bowles was among supporters in court.
Thanks for being present and for following through on the case. Thanks.
The appeal continues tomorrow. Sean Mckay, 7 Tasmania News.
It has been revealed one of the people injured in yesterday's horror car crash on the East Derwent Highway is Tasmanian AFL legend Royce Hart. For more, we're joined by reporter John Hunt now. Good evening, John. Now, what is Mr Hart's condition tonight?
Good evening, Kim. It's understood the 73-year-old remains in a serious condition. He's been treated for his injuries here at the Royal Hobart Hospital. The crash happened around 11 yesterday morning at Risdon when a blue Nissan collided head-on with a blue MG hatchback. He and 2 other people were rushed to hospital. Considered one of the greatest centre-half forwards, Hart won 4 premierships with Richmond over an illustrious 11-year career. He has legend status in the Australian Football Hall of Fame and is a member of the AFL's Team of the Century. So, Kim, there'll be many across the state and the country wishing him a speedy recovery.
Very much so. Thank you, John, and also to those also involved in the crash. Thanks, John, for your time. Well, to other news now. Federal Treasurer Josh Frydenberg is in Tasmania following the release of data around the government's JobKeeper program. He visited a number of northern businesses which have had support during the pandemic. Tasmania received around $2.7 billion in COVID-19 support between April and February, with nearly half made up of JobKeeper payments. Around 70,000 Tasmanians and 17,000 businesses were on JobKeeper at the height of the pandemic. The Health Services Union is calling on the state government to invest more funding into community-based care. A report commissioned by the union shows a bigger investment in allied health professionals could see over 1,000 hospital admissions prevented in Tasmania each year.
We could save at least 2,500 hospital admissions a year. That would cut in half the annual increase in hospital demand. That's a big deal.
In a statement, the Health Minister says the government is already in the process of rolling out new initiatives focused on community care. Voluntary assisted dying legislation is expected to pass its final hurdle this week. The divisive bill will return to Parliament tomorrow for what is set to be another mammoth debate.
A major milestone for voluntary assisted dying in Tasmania reached at the end of last year, as the lower house voted in favour of the laws. This week it will once again return to Parliament. Mike Gaffney tabled the bill in August. It's been an emotional journey, one that now looks like it's drawing closer to an end.
I think this bill is sound and I think it will pass.
A mammoth week of debate lies ahead, with a series of amendments to be brought forward by Sarah Courtney along with other MPs.
A lot of the amendments that have been put forward are ones to clarify. Some I don't believe are necessary, but if it helps people think that the bill is more beneficial or is easy to access, then that's a good thing.
But not everyone is on board.
Just on Friday, we've seen copious amendments from the sponsor of the bill with advice that more amendments will be coming.
Hoping debate will be pushed back.
This sort of legislation is life and death, and why you would want to rush this sort of legislation should be approached with an abundance of caution.
Both Labor and the Greens remain confident in the legislation.
I don't support a delay. This is a reform that is long overdue, and the UTAS report confirms that it is safe and robust.
What we don't want to see is the internal bickering of the Liberal Party delaying or distracting from the really important task we have, which is to pass very safe, very solid laws.
If the amendments pass, it will return to the upper house for a final tick of approval. Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
6 people have been charged after a protest at Mckay Timber in Brighton. 27 protesters from the Bob Brown Foundation arrived at the processing facility in the early hours of the morning, locking themselves onto equipment and entrance gates. The action has been condemned by the government.
These are workers from North Hobart, from Bridgewater, from Gagebrook, and the BBF and the Greens are now trying to stop them doing their work. Enough is enough.
Our objective is not to target people's jobs. Our objective is to get people out of native forests, get people transitioning into a sustainable plantation-based industry.
Mckay Timber says the actions have cost the company more than $30,000. Launceston Church Grammar School is acquiring a large plot of land next to its Littleton Street Junior campus. The school has no plans as yet to develop the area, saying it will be utilised as green space for the students to enjoy.
Years ago, students would kind of move through the fence and kind of run up here and play. And I was talking to an alumni this morning who can remember doing that when she was just a young girl here.
The land also contains 2 buildings that were part of the old hospital complex. The state's first urgent care centre has opened today in Launceston. Acting as a mini emergency department, the centre in Newstead is hoping to free up resources at the Launceston General Hospital by accepting non-life-threatening illnesses or injuries. A state government report last year found the implementation of an urgent care centre could divert 17,000 patients away from the LGH. Well, the wheels are turning on a program helping migrants and refugees learn to ride a bike. Around 40 people from countries including Nepal, Ethiopia and Thailand are being taught how to cycle safely, while also being provided with the right equipment. Many of those taking part live close to Hobart's intercity cycleway, making bikes an easy option for heading into the city. The students say they want to learn to ride to have fun, save money and fight climate change.
Red Albans' Brodie Ellis has dominated the opening round of the Coastal Motocross Club Championship over the weekend, dropping only 1 race to Launceston's Hugh Mckay on his way to victory in the Pro Open and light classes, while Gawler rider Aidan Bloom's senior debut was one to remember, winning 2 classes. And from Boyer Oval to the bright lights of the MCG, Peter Hudson's life in football is being celebrated in his hometown of New Norfolk. The Hawthorn champion has been immortalised in a statue, with Hudson describing today's unveiling as one of the best days of his life. With his trademark long sleeves and cool composure, the Hawthorn champion has captured how many would remember him on the field, kicking one of his 727 goals for Hawthorn or his 378 goals for his home club of New Norfolk.
The family home backed onto the Boyer Oval, so I had football in the winter, cricket in the summer, and my third favourite sport was tennis, and the courts were only about 150 metres away. So I felt like I had the biggest backyard in the world.
A backyard in which he's now forever immortalised.
Does it look all right? Fantastic, yeah. Too late to change it now.
But Hudson changed the game, bamboozling backman when he snuck into open space.
Dodges nicely, gets his left foot into the ball, and Hudson on his own will mark in front of goal and run in. And another goal to Hudson.
Even with 4 Coleman medals, the 1971 Premiership and legend status in the AFL Hall of Fame, Peter Hudson describes today's tribute as among the happiest days of his life.
When Darryl Baldock was honoured in Latrobe, I thought it was the greatest tribute to arguably the best footballer that's ever come out of Tasmania. And not thinking for 1 minute that this would happen to me here in New Norfolk, in my hometown.
A hometown oozing with pride.
We all know about how fantastic his football ability was, but for us, it's honouring one of our own.
The unveiling comes with the Hawks at a crossroads in the state. Hawthorn President Jeff Kennett wouldn't be drawn in on the club's stalled negotiations with the government. A meeting between Kennett and the Premier scheduled for today didn't happen, but the pair is expected to meet in the coming days. The focus instead...
Hudson's there, you can see the big hands go up. The real reason I'm here is not because of his success, but because of the person he is. He is, and so is Steph and his son, family. They are very, very decent people.
Remaining on the brown and gold, and now bronzed, local legend. Yeah, a great tribute. Wonderful, Kim.
Very much so. Thanks, Tom.
Good evening. Friendly beaches our high today with 25 degrees. Hobart and Devonport 21, Launceston 24 and Burnie 22. And now we're in March, the averages change. So most temperatures today above average for this time of year. St Helens 23, Grove and Ouse 22, Flinders Island 21, Smithton and Low Head 20, 19 today on King Island, Strawn 18 degrees. A cold airfield swooped on the state today, bringing squally conditions and isolated showers. You can see that pattern moving through. The frontal bands of cloud are in our region and south of Western Australia. The monsoon trough still on the go over the north, and a low off Queensland has thunderstorms there. Tomorrow a high over the Southern Ocean extends a ridge over southeast Australia. That low off Queensland continues to deepen. Winds southwesterly at 30 to 40 knots, easing during the day, swells over the west and south decaying in the afternoon, but building to 3.5 metres offshore in the east. We have a severe weather warning for damaging winds for parts of the southeast and east coasts for early tomorrow. A gale warning from St Helens Point to Low Rocky Point. A strong wind warning for remaining coastal waters in the Derwent estuary. Also a warning to sheep graziers in the east and southeast. Hobart 15 and a shower or two. 14 for Adventure Bay, windy over there on Bruny. A shower or two for Tarraleah and 10 the top. 18 for Launceston, partly cloudy. Devonport the same, 18 the high for Bridport, bit of sun peeking through. Burnie expecting 17 and partly cloudy, a shower or two for Strawn, winds easing, 15 the top, 15 for Marrawar. And for St Helens, 18 the top and partly cloudy. Swansea 16 degrees, 18 for Whitemark on Flinders. UV, that'll be at 8 and very high. On Wednesday, showers for the west and far south, but fine elsewhere. Similar weather forecast for Thursday with gusty west-south-westerlies. And on Friday, windy again with cloudy conditions prevailing. A possible storm for Perth, a sunny 25 in Adelaide, cloudy over Melbourne and Sydney, and a storm for Brisbane. Cloudy conditions prevailing, 16 in Hobart, 16 right now in Launceston. Sunny in Devonport though, cooler and 14 degrees. Kim, got to tell you about my weekend. I spent a good portion of it in our southwest wilderness. It was wonderful. I even took a picture of the Melaleuca weather station, but that was for tax purposes. But anyway, I've got to say, unlike in here, the serenity was awesome.
Oh, we could easily send you back if that's what you'd like. That is your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Good night.